Whew. I really hope that this is lined up properly and it's all in focus, but we shall see. What's up, everybody? It's Alex Sigrist, and I'm back for another Alex Uncut. Just got back from a vacation. I was out in Los Angeles and in my hometown of Columbus, Ohio. So that's why I had two of the exact same shirts for the last 2 weeks. But now I'm back. I'm literally here on Wednesday because I got home. I got here late last night. So hopefully, again, it's all edited by the time it comes to 9 o'clock tonight. We'll see. So with Alex Uncut, every week I answer one of 3 questions from the previous week's comments, and I choose them at random, and then I choose one that I really want to answer, and I answer the last 2 at the very end for just a short second. But I got to give you my best answer in about 4 to 5 minutes, or longer if I can make it, and that's what I do. So this week, unfortunately, I'm the only one in the studio today, so I'm going to just go ahead and kind of pick it myself. So I got my previous week's video up here, and I'm going to choose 3. I did choose these right before filming, but I haven't really looked at the questions yet and thought about them. So Rachel Kim, going to choose one from someone who's been on our show. Rachel Kim asks, so we know you recently took a trip to America for work. Can you share with us the best moment from the trip? The second one is down here. Where was it? Cafe or Bar by Jenny Miller. And then finally, Tea War. Our society is so materialistic these days. Do you see yourself as a materialistic person? Why or why not? Okay, now that I read these out loud, I actually don't know which one to answer. Rachel, I will save yours for the end because I think I have a good answer, but a quick answer. Cafe or bar, or do I want to go with materialistic? I'm going to go with cafe or bar. That was a tough one because they both require a long explanation, but I'm going to go ahead and go with cafe or bar. You may think, Alex, why do you think cafe or bar has a long explanation? Obviously, it's one or the other, and you tell us why. Well, I've done a lot of reflecting recently, and I think that's why this one hits me a little harder, why I really want to talk about this one. Cafe or bar, we both know the differences. Cafe is mostly coffee or tea or cake or something like that. A little bit overpriced here in Korea, but still a nice meeting place. And a bar is mostly alcohol, sometimes beer food. But the transition that's really happened in my life explains why my answer is, without a doubt, cafe. Now you may be thinking, Alex, you're lying. I know that you go out to the bars and I've seen you there, or I've run into you there, or you've posted on Instagram story, whatever. Yes, it is true. And it's true that I've also stopped going to cafes as much, and some of you may remember that I even gave up coffee. But the reason I have to choose a cafe is, well, there's a couple. Number one, very simple, alcohol is a drug. And as much as I choose that to be one of the sins that I partake in, it's something that causes damage to your liver, obviously. But also, I have a little bit of a family history of heart disease. And specifically, with heart disease, if you have kind of a beer gut, that will make that condition worse, more likely to happen. And so I have really been cutting back on my alcohol consumption. Next up, we're going to talk about money. Even though in Korea, a cup of coffee or a cup of tea is ridiculous, like I'll say it a million times, it's a freaking bag of dead leaves in a cup with water. Like that should be $2 maximum, no questions asked. But it's sometimes more expensive than coffee here in Korea. I digress. The problem with a bar is I would always end up spending more. And the irony of it, the more expensive the bar, the less I spend, the less I drink, the healthier I am. But if you go to a cheap bar, you get 1, you get 2, you get 3. By your second beer, you are already over the cost of 1 cup of coffee or 1 cup of tea, whatever it may be. So when you do that addition for the entire year, we're talking about 365 days, maybe you're only at bars 50 to 100 days a year, that'd be once or twice a week, you're talking about a lot of money. So you're talking about maybe 20 to 30 bucks each time you go, especially if if you're the one buying drinks or if you're going to more expensive bars. And that's at a minimum. That also does not include the taxi fees that you have when you come back home if you stay out too late. Doesn't include the drunk munchies that you may have. It's just not a lot going for it. Cafe wins with money. It's pretty easy. So we talked about health, which is obvious. We've talked about money, but this is kind of the big one. Social aspect. A lot of you may think, Alex, but that's where I get my vibe on. It's where I really feel good, because you just get one or two and people start talking to me and I start talking to people, and it's just where I meet people. And in fact, a lot of you probably met your boyfriend or girlfriend, significant other at a bar, or at least you went to a bar on your first date. And it's cool. It's actually a great way to do it. But long-term, cafes actually promote a better social life for you. Now, it's not just because, of course, you go a little crazy at the bar and it makes you a little weird, but also there's a lot to do with the fact that you are forced to become a better socializer at a cafe. You're one-on-one with somebody. You're looking them in the eye. You're practicing being a good listener, hopefully, or at least you're practicing your speaking skills. Where at a bar, you're actually given a lot of leeway in how well you talk or how funny you are, because people will be at least fake or drunk engaged a little bit more, and they'll laugh at more of your jokes. And yeah, you'll feel good at the moment, but it doesn't make you a better player in that social game, if you will. I don't mean player in the bad sense. I mean, like, if social life was a game and you go to a bar, you don't really improve your skills, because it's more like you're just shooting around at basketball practice, but not really focusing on the basics. Whereas if you go to a cafe, you really are focusing on the other person, talking to them. And if you are somebody that wants to meet people at a cafe, that takes a whole nother level of social confidence that I don't even know if I have. But if you're doing it at a bar, again, you're not getting better at it as you would at a, let's say, cafe. And why do I say that? Because take yourself out of the cafe, take yourself out of the bar. And now, on the street, on the bus, try and talk to somebody. Try and have a conversation with them. Who would be the better conversationalist? The same person who went to a bar and was always funny when they're drunk and they have great conversations when they're drinking, or the person who can do it at a cafe? So I will be at a bar again, probably. I don't know when, but at some point. And I will probably think I'm funnier than I am, and I'll have conversations, and I'll feel like, man, it was so engaging last night. But I feel like I'm getting better as a human being every time I go to a cafe. Last point, this will kind of wrap it all up. I guess friendship too. I had a lot of fun with my friends in college at bars. There's no doubt about it, and I still do. But it's these longer conversations as we get older in life that really have a more profound impact. The people that you have these long conversations with, that you really open up with, not just because you are drinking, but because you are forced to bare your soul. It makes you vulnerable. Drinking and saying stuff doesn't make you feel as vulnerable, but cafes and having a cup of coffee or tea with somebody and then opening up, that makes you really vulnerable, especially if you got the caffeine pumping. And it's in those moments that our friendships actually become even better, even stronger, even more significant than they are right before that. There we go. We've got, money. We've got socializing. We've got the way that it treats your friendships. Overall, going to a cafe, I think, will make us better people. Not saying that you have to always go to cafes and never go to a bar, but if I had to choose between the two, by going to cafes more often, we'll be able to really reach out of our comfort zone, develop our friendships, and save a little bit of money in the end. Oh yeah, and that whole health thing. So that's it. What do you think? Are you more of a bar person or a cafe person? I want to know if you agree or disagree with me down in the comments. Keep it civil, but state your truth, because everyone has their own reasons for why they would say either answer, and I think it's great. I'm going to go ahead and answer the other two questions. One was from Rachel Kim. It was about the best moment in America. For sure, it was when I surprised my friend. He had no idea I was coming back for his bachelor party, and it was just a ton of fun. And just showing up in a box on his porch, well, jumped in the box, and then he came out, and that was awesome. And it reminded me of how important those friendships are back at home. And then the other question, our society is so materialistic these days. Do you see yourself as a materialistic person? Why or why not? Yes. I don't see myself as purely materialistic, but I do, I like the shoes I wear sometimes that are a little pricier. But I'm at a low level of materialism because, I'll never buy an expensive car. For me, I'd rather buy an environmentally friendly car. So I do not see myself as that because I don't like hanging with people who judge me based on my money. And so I never want to feel that pressure. All right, you guys know what to do now. Go down into the comment section. And then if you've already talked about why I love cafes or why you're wrong, Alex, I love bars, then ask a question for next week. There were some great questions down there this week as I was scrolling through quickly. There was one, I think, even from Amy J. It was, if you were someone else, would you like yourself? That was a great one. But I had answered that before. But if you do ask that same question again, I might pick it next week. So ask the same question, ask a new question, ask a different question. Just leave a comment down below. Of course, as always, y'all know what to do. Give this video a like if you liked what you heard, or give it a like because I got this up in one day, and that's pretty cool too, right? And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to get content every Wednesday and Sunday, and soon, maybe Friday. Working on that one. That's it for today. This was Alex Uncut, as real as it gets. I hope that's my right catchphrase. I kind of forget now.